Hey all, it's John Moncrief, founder of the Freedom Experience, and welcome to this episode. So, bear with me, voice is a little bit scratchy today, but let's just get straight into it. Have you ever had that feeling that you're trapped in your business? So, you know that if you go away or that you take a vacation, it's very likely that things are going to fall apart. Well, that feeling that without you, the products and services just wouldn't evolve because you're the one person who understands the industry insanely well. And customers always want to deal with you. So you're the person that they go to or that they want to speak to every time they want to deal with the organization. Maybe you're the person out there on the road all the time because you're the best dang salesperson the business has got. Now, I know the feeling. When I had a group of businesses, I was involved from everything from the accounts to the auditors. I was involved in running the software development team, making sure that they were on target and they were delivering the software we needed. I was involved with the support side of the business. I was on a plane flying from town to town to meet with customers, just to sort of spend time with them and look after them, to deal with the challenges we were having, and to try and close the next deal. So I know where you are and how you're feeling, but I hung in there and I looked out and I found systems like EOS that could help me to build and grow the business by introducing systems that would help me sort of run the business. And I worked with my management team and I coached these folks, and I had some great people, but it took some coaching to get them to where they were comfortable running the business themselves. And after time and a lot of hard work, got to the point where I was able to start selling off pieces of the business and ultimately exit the business. So if you're feeling that your business is plateaued and that you just can't find the traction to get to the next level, or that you feel like you just absolutely have no work-life balance, you've got a job, not a company, or you're involved in everything from being the secretary of the business to the CEO of the business, or if you're just simply at that point where you have had enough and you want to throw in the towel, then I would suggest that you're a victim of the owner's trap. Now, don't worry, we can get you out of this. I want to start today, and I just want to talk about 4 things that you can do starting today that can start to sort of help you to work your way out of this trap that you found yourself in. And let's get straight into them. So the first one is to get clarity. In last week's episode, I talked about the importance of vision. And I think this is so important that I actually want to reiterate it this week. I can't tell you how many times I meet entrepreneurs who just don't have the vision or have a vision in their head, but they haven't taken the time to commit that vision to paper and to share it with their team. So right now, I want you to take the time, pause this video, take the time to think about your vision and commit it to paper. Think about the long term, 10 years from now. Think about the medium term, 5 odd years, 3 years, and the short term, the next month, 12 months. But stop and start writing it now. And if 10 years seems too far off, hell, then start at 5 years. But sit down and start writing and put yourself in that 5 years from now place, or that place 5 years from now, place 10 years from now, and write about what it feels like. What does your business feel like? What does it look like? For me, it's having a studio where I'm recording and sharing and training and teaching you folks. For you, it may be very different, but what does your team look like? What are the revenue numbers you're hitting? Where are you sitting right now? What have you achieved to get to the place that you're sitting right now? So start putting that picture on a paper and then start working backward. How did you take the steps to get to where you are now? So what did you do 5 years ago? What did you do 3 years ago? What did you do this year that we're going to go through now? So once you've got that big picture, I want you to sit down and I want you to write about the next 12 months. What are the 4 or 5 goals you absolutely have to crack in the next 4 or 5 months to get to where you want to go 10 years from now? And then I want you to look at the next month. What do you have to do in the next month to get you where you want to be in the next 12 months, in the next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? And I'm going to help you with that because we're going to do some really practical stuff next. So number 2, I often talk about this as well, start pruning the tree. So if you imagine an apple tree, unless you prune the tree, it just doesn't grow. It kind of bundles up and gets all whatever it gets, and it doesn't grow. So by cutting off a few branches, you give it the room to breathe and to grow. Now, as entrepreneurs, when we start a business, we'll kind of pursue anything that we can to get the business going. The challenge with that is, if you imagine a dartboard, your target market is this bullseye in the center, and then you've got these concentric circles going out beyond that, and we stretch beyond our bullseye to close down deals, to get business, to get momentum, which isn't a bad thing, but in the longer run, it can hinder your growth because you'll end up with multiple products and services to multiple customers, and to try and manage and look after that is insane, and that's why you're in the position that you're in. So what I want you to do is I want you to start cutting product and service and customers. I want you to think about what's not core. Out of the 4, 5, 10, 12 products or services you have, what are you not selling? What's not your core? What's going to customers who aren't your core? Trim those back, bring it down, focus on 2, 3, 1 core product. So you've got 1 or 2 or 3 core products that you sell to multiple customers, right? So prune the tree. Get your vision down, prune your tree. Next, start delegating. Can't tell you how many entrepreneurs are guilty of this. There's all saying, you might as well do it yourself. The problem is that you're not coaching your team. You're not teaching them how to do things. So start with the day-to-day operational stuff. Start with the bookkeeping, the payroll, the purchasing. Find people in the organization who will take responsibility for doing those tasks and gradually teach them to take over. Set goals with them. And if they aren't in the organization, start looking outside to find the right people to do those tasks. That's going to free you up to start focusing on the next level, the more strategic stuff. And maybe that's product development or time with customers. How do you start gradually handing that over to different people in the organization? And you follow the similar process, progressively hand over the responsibilities to other people. At the end of the day, the more you can delegate and the more your business can run independently of you, the more valuable it is. And the more likely you are not to burn out, which is obviously something you don't want to be doing. So get your vision down, prune the tree, delegate. And the last thing I want to talk about is find help. There's a saying that it's lonely at the top. Well, it's only lonely if you make it lonely at the top. There's so many great organizations out there, so many great chapters, Vistage, EO, places where you can go and you can work with other CEOs and you can share ideas and you can share experiences. And we're not talking here about going out to your brother-in-law's cousin Ted, or whoever it is, who's an accountant with a great firm down the road. Accountants have their place, and no disrespect meant to accountants. But the advice that the accountant is going to give you, take it back to your group. Bounce the ideas of people who've been through this before. Because they're going to tell you what that advice has meant for them and whether they've had similar advice and whether it's been good or bad. But lean on that group. So go out and see if you can find a CEO group. Get involved. I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I meet who just try and do it themselves, and you can see the difference. The folks who are with CEO groups, are involved in those kind of groups, it may not be perfect. Their businesses may not be perfect, but the growth is there. It's starting to move. It's changing. Whereas people who, CEOs and business owners who are just keeping to themselves, they're kind of slipping backwards, and you don't want to be there. Sure, there's exceptions. There's always exceptions. But if you want to take your business to the next level, if you want to get out of this owner's trap, get involved with a CEO group. Look for a coach. It's part of what I do is working with folks like you, helping them, coaching them through business, using Value Builder and tools like that to help you grow your business. But when I was struggling, I went out and I hired a coach, and she was great. I was able to bounce ideas off her. She helped me find the clarity that I need to really kind of hit that bullseye myself, because I was struggling with that. And above all, there's this element of accountability. So I didn't want to be getting on the phone with her and saying, I haven't done it or I haven't achieved. I wanted to get on that phone and say, yeah, we're moving forward. I've done this. So go out, look for a coach. I mean, there's reasons that people like Steve Jobs and Larry Page and the titans of the valley have coaches. It's very similar. They want clarity, they want a sounding board, and they want to be held accountable to succeed. So I really hope these help you. If you're feeling stuck in that trap and you want to break free, I hope these help you. And if you do nothing else, subscribe to the channel and just listen to these videos every week. I do my best to coach you through creating a business that's valuable and that's healthy. So don't forget, hit the subscribe button up there, one of the sides, and see you in the next episode.